words have power. Not the vague, fluttering kind that poets romanticize, but the brutal, sharp-edged force that can ignite or extinguish the fiercest fires of conflict. You hold this power every time you open your mouth. But do you wield it wisely? Or do your words serve only to fuel the chaos around you? In the battlefield of human interaction, language is your weapon, your shield, your strategy. Yet, most wield it clumsily, slashing at shadows, blind to the consequences of their strikes. The Stoics taught us that mastery over speech is mastery over the self, and through that, mastery over conflict itself. Imagine a moment of tension spiraling out of control. Voices rising, emotions flaring, reason dissolving into noise. In that tempest, a single phrase, carefully chosen, calmly delivered, can be the anchor that steadies the ship. These are not empty words. They are powerful phrases, forged in the furnace of ancient wisdom and tempered by practical insight. They carry the weight to calm the storm, to diffuse hostility, to reclaim peace in the eye of chaos. This is no soft appeal to kindness or wishful thinking. This is ruthless strategy. Words that do not provoke, but disarm. Words that do not escalate, but invite understanding. Words that do not surrender to the heat of battle, but command the cold clarity of reason. When you speak with this calculated calm, you do more than communicate, you control the emotional climate of the room. You shape the trajectory of the conflict. You choose peace over destruction. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius did not merely advise silence or passivity, he urged deliberate, rational speech that acknowledges reality without feeding the flames of passion. When another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, he wrote, go to their souls, penetrate inside and see what sort of people they are. This is the first step, listen, deeply, not just to words, but to the undercurrents beneath them. To hear is not always to agree, but to understand the root of agitation, the source of the storm. Once you grasp this, your words become tools to redirect. You no longer react impulsively to anger or defensiveness. Instead, you respond with calm, reasoned phrases that acknowledge the other's humanity and pain without capitulating to their hostility. You create a space where conflict can dissolve rather than erupt. These powerful phrases are not about winning arguments, they are about winning peace. Consider the difference between a flaring retort and a measured response. The first fans the flames, the second cools the embers. Powerful phrases are those that soothe the emotional wounds that fuel conflict, phrases that say, I see you, I hear you, let's find a way through this. They are the verbal equivalents of a steady hand on a trembling shoulder. But why is this so vital? Because the emotional climate in any conflict is shaped by language. Words can provoke defensiveness, trigger pain, or open pathways to empathy. The Stoics remind us that we cannot always control external events, nor the actions of others, but we retain sovereignty over our responses. By mastering speech, you master not just the moment but your own emotional landscape. This is not theoretical. It is practical. When you learn to wield these phrases, you cultivate patience and empathy. You build resilience against the corrosive effects of anger and misunderstanding. You transform conflict from a destructive force into an opportunity for connection and growth. Remember, this is a skill forged through discipline. Just as the Stoics trained their minds to remain unshaken by external chaos, so must you train your tongue to speak with intention and calm. The practice of powerful phrases is a daily exercise in self-mastery. It requires vigilance, reflection, and the courage to break patterns of reactive speech. In this pursuit, silence is your ally as much as speech. The Stoics taught that sometimes the most powerful phrase is no phrase at all, strategic calm amidst the storm. Yet, when words are necessary, let them be precise, thoughtful, and aimed to heal rather than harm. You stand at a crossroads every time conflict arises. One path leads to escalation, bitterness, and fractured relationships. The other leads to understanding, peace, and inner strength. The choice hinges on the language you choose to wield. Powerful phrases are your compass. So, prepare yourself. The journey to calm the storm begins with the deliberate selection of words. Words that do not merely fill silence but shape reality. Words that do not just react but transform. Words that make peace possible in a world often ruled by chaos. This is the opening move in your war against discord, the first lesson in the Stoic art of communication. Master it, and you begin to master the very fabric of conflict itself.